The movie begins by introducing John, an architect who has a wife and a young son. However, his relationship with his wife isn't going well. It's his son Nathan's birthday, and John decides to visit him, determined to keep things calm and avoid any arguments with his wife. He leaves work early and heads to their house. When he arrives, his wife Allison is working out. John talks to her politely, and soon Nathan comes running in, excited to see his dad, like any child who wants to see both parents together. Since it's Nathan's birthday, their neighbors are also expected to come over. So John and Nathan go to the supermarket to buy some supplies. While shopping, John receives a call from the Department of Homeland Security. The caller tells him that he, along with his wife and son, has been selected for a shelter and must report to a given location immediately. Confused, John rushes back home. It feels like some kind of test or prank, and he isn't sure whether to believe it. Still, he tells Allison everything. At the same time, news reports on TV reveal that a comet, a massive object made of dust and gas, has entered Earth's orbit and is expected to land near Bermuda. Scientists warn that even its impact waves could spread across vast distances, potentially causing massive destruction or even earthquakes. As John steps outside, a powerful gust of wind suddenly hits him, knocking him to the ground. That powerful gust of wind was caused by the comet striking the Bermuda Triangle. The impact terrifies birds in the sky, and even the windows of John's house shatter. Inside, the neighbors panic, realizing that something catastrophic is about to happen. Just then, John receives the same message again, the one he got at the supermarket, confirming that his family has been selected for a shelter and must reach the given location immediately. However, the neighbors don't take it well. They believe everyone deserves safety, not just a selected few. Upset, they leave the house. After they're gone, John, Allison, and Nathan quickly pack their things and leave in their car. On the way, another neighbor stops them and begs them to take her young daughter along. But John has no choice. He's not allowed to bring anyone else. With a heavy heart, he refuses and drives away, believing the child is safer with her mother than being left alone at the airport. Soon, the three of them arrive at the airport, where there is massive chaos and crowd. Allison urges that they need to get on the plane quickly before seats run out. The area is heavily guarded by Army officers, and only those selected for the shelter are allowed inside. Suddenly, John realizes he forgot Nathan's medication in the car. Nathan has diabetes and needs insulin. Without it, he won't survive. John rushes back to get it. Allison refuses to leave without him, so she decides to wait. She informs an officer that her husband has gone to get insulin for their son and asks them to wait. But this turns out to be a mistake. Since no patients are allowed on the plane, the officers immediately take Allison and Nathan aside and lead them to a different area. Meanwhile, John returns with the insulin, but he can't find his wife and son anywhere. He assumes they must have already boarded the plane, so he gets inside. However, even after searching everywhere, he cannot find them. Just then, a man asks him how he managed to board the plane with medicine. John replies that it's for his son. The man then tells him that patients are not allowed on this flight. At that moment, John realizes the truth. His wife and son were not allowed to board and are still outside. He immediately tries to get off the plane, but an Army officer stops him and says that no one is allowed to leave or enter the plane anymore, and he must sit down quietly. Outside, chaos breaks out. The crowd becomes aggressive, and panic spreads everywhere as people desperately try to save themselves. They rush toward the plane, but the situation gets out of control. The Army is unable to handle the crowd and starts firing, but it doesn't help. Amid the chaos, fuel from a tank starts leaking, causing a fire. Within seconds, a plane explodes violently. From a distance, Allison and Nathan witness everything. They have no idea whether John is alive or not. Allison quickly writes a note saying that she is going to her mother's house and sticks it on the car window before leaving. Later, John comes back searching for them and finds a note on the car. He realizes that his wife and son are safe. Without wasting time, he sets out to find them. Meanwhile, on the road, Allison asks a passing car for a ride. The driver stops and agrees to take them along. As they're driving, the man asks where they're coming from. Allison tells him that they were selected for a shelter, but her son is sick, so they weren't allowed on the plane and were sent back. Hearing this, the man is surprised and says they should return to the shelter. But Allison refuses, explaining that there has already been an explosion there, and, with her son's condition, going back would be pointless. Suddenly, the man forces Allison out of the car and drives away with Nathan. Meanwhile, John is walking, trying to reach his wife. On the way, he sees that another comet has hit the Earth, causing a massive explosion. It becomes clear that multiple comets are going to strike, and one of them will be powerful enough to destroy the planet. As John continues, he comes across an army truck heading toward Canada, where Allison's father lives. He gets into the truck and continues the journey with them. Inside the truck, a young man explains that only selected people are being sent to special shelters in Greenland. These people are chosen because they can help rebuild the world after the destruction. Only a few important individuals have been selected for this mission. In fact, John himself is an architect, which is why he and his family were selected. The idea behind the shelter is that after the destruction of the world, people like John will help rebuild it. Only those with important skills, like doctors, engineers, and other professionals, were chosen because they could contribute to starting civilization again. While they're talking, a man overhears everything. He realizes that John has been selected for the shelter and is wearing a wristband, the pass to enter Greenland. The man tries to steal it. Another person traveling with John attempts to help him, but ends up getting killed. A fight breaks out between John and the attacker, but John somehow manages to survive. Meanwhile, the man who kidnapped Nathan, along with his wife, reaches the airport. They tell an officer that Nathan is their son and claim they had wristbands for the shelter, but lost them in the crowd. They beg to be allowed onto the plane. But Nathan speaks up and says that they are not his family and he doesn't know them. The officer immediately understands that they kidnapped the child to gain entry. He takes Nathan away from them. At the same time, Allison reaches the airport, desperately searching for her son, but she can't find him anywhere. Then some people tell Allison that her son has been given insulin and is with a doctor. She quickly rushes there and finds Nathan safe. Overwhelmed with relief, she breaks down in tears. She asks the doctor how she can reach Canada. The doctor tells her that a bus is leaving from there and she can take it to Canada. Allison leaves with her son on that bus. Meanwhile, John has already reached Canada. When he arrives at Allison's father's house, he realizes that his wife and son haven't reached yet. He starts getting worried. Just then, he receives a call from Allison. She tells him they're about to arrive in Canada. John immediately drives to pick them up and finds them at the bus stop. Seeing them safe, he feels immense relief and takes them back to her father's house. John explains that a massive comet is about to hit Earth, which could end the world. To survive, the army has built a shelter in Greenland, hidden between mountains, where selected people can stay safe. They need to reach there as soon as possible. Allison asks her father to come with them, but he refuses. He says he wants to spend his last moments with his friends and asks them to go without him. Soon, the three of them leave for Greenland. On the way, they face heavy traffic as smaller fragments of the comet keep hitting Earth, causing explosions. They need to reach the airport quickly, so they push forward. But by the time they arrive, it's already night, and the last plane to Greenland has already taken off. Desperate, John drives onto the runway and stops his car right in front of the plane, forcing the pilot to bring it to a halt. The pilot steps out and angrily asks John if he wants to die. John quickly explains that they have wristbands and were selected for the shelter, but they got delayed. He begs the pilot to take them along. After a moment, the pilot agrees and lets them board the plane. They fly high in the sky toward Greenland. But then, the largest comet strikes the Earth. The impact creates massive shock waves, destroying everything in its path. Even though the plane is flying at a great height, it still gets hit by a powerful wave. The aircraft loses balance and crashes into a mountain. Miraculously, everyone survives. They step out of the plane and see an army camp right in front of them. They have finally reached near the shelter. The soldiers quickly guide them inside, and once everyone is in, the shelter doors are completely sealed. For a long time, they keep hearing terrifying sounds. Hearing this, John holds his family tightly. These sounds are from the comets, continuously crashing onto Earth. They stay inside the shelter for months, as there is enough food stored to survive for years. After some time, their radio signals start working again. They learn that the toxic gases outside, which made it impossible to breathe, are slowly clearing. The atmosphere is gradually returning to normal, and soon it will be safe for humans again. When they finally open the bunker doors and step outside, they see that everything has turned to dust. Even the biggest cities have been completely destroyed. But they are not the only survivors. They make contact with other people who are safe in different bunkers. Various countries had built shelters for selected individuals so they could survive and help rebuild the world. And with that, the movie comes to an end. If you want to know what happens next, make sure to check out the second part of this story, which is already uploaded.